primary ignition.
Hi, this is author Timothy Zahn. You're listening to Virtual Cantina Network.
You're only listening to us.
Yes.
You
Well,
see
now
it.
you're yeah, I called it, did I not, the other day? Yeah.
Absolutely, you totally did. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another week of the Virtual Cantina Watch Along. We're going to be watching Light and Magic Season 2, Episode 2, which is a really, really great one. Riding Chewy with me today is Dave. How are you, sir?
Hello there. I am doing well.
So much going on in the VCN world. As you all know, we are gearing up for Boonta E Special Edition Texas, which comes out on August the 8th, 2025 at the Frisco Conference Center. And so Boonta's over at the Revel, which is down the street. VIP is sold out, and GA tickets are selling. This is going to be an incredible event. Our events director, Kathy, went down for the day last weekend and did a walkthrough, and she's like, oh, we got so much available to us. And I can tell you that there's going to be an entire room just dedicated to Sabacc.
Nice.
There'll be multiple games, a big stand for hyperspace props. Oh, yeah. Great credits. They have some new Ferox credits that just came out as well.
I found just the other day, and I don't have them on my desk yet, is I had ordered and forgot about that because my wife picked up the mail and they were in her vehicle. But I got the Atten credits.
Ooh. And we saw those
shiny.
in Japan, and they're gorgeous. Yeah. So we're very, very excited about everything going on right there. Remember, tickets are going on sale. And also, don't forget that our interview for Daughters of the Galaxy with the magistrate herself, Diana Lee Insanto, will be next Wednesday night on Daughters of the Galaxy. I will help produce that show, and the girls did a bang-up job. So it's really a great interview, and she gave some insights that, because Sarah did her research, she actually watched other people's interviews.
Aha.
She made sure not to ask questions that other people asked.
Well, some of the same questions it's helpful.
Yeah.
See, there you go. June the 25th.
Yes.
But I like to ask the same question over and over again. Is my favorite question is because I am the person that I am, is like, what did you feel the first time you saw yourself as an action figure?
Which was one of the questions that you did ask. That was in the backup question. I only cut one question because she answered the question before it was asked later on. So I'm just not going to ask that question again.
Yeah, right.
Redundancy. We talk in circles as it is on this network. We don't really need to have more redundancy anymore than we already have.
You are correct.
But don't forget that we are brought to you by VIP Home Theaters. Engage your senses, or engage your senses.
Hey, are we mixing the metaphors there? Could I right there? You could have a home theater that looked like the bridge of the Enterprise.
That'd be absolutely incredible. Since we were just talking about the bridge of the Enterprise the other night on the Zoom.
Absolutely.
But check them out. They got some great studios and great sound systems. Perfect for watching and listening to the wars.
Perfect for listening to the seismic charge.
That was the one thing we talked about in the meeting with them. It's like we want to hit seismic charge in the system. But also want to announce that we have a brand new sponsor that is actually sponsoring the VCN Watch Along for the next couple of weeks, and that is Galactic Pickers. Galactic Pickers is a replica and unique custom saber for a more civilized age. And
these are some really neat ones. It's like you got the cross guard ones, you got the ninja sword looking, the traditional kind of like silk wrapped handles. I like that.
So some very good ones, and in the near future there will be a very special review of one of the sabers done by our very own Ski Pruckle.
Aha. Yeah, I checked out their website a little bit when we were researching and doing the things. I really like the range of prices that they have on them. You can get your really you can starter saber kind of thing, and then you can get like a mid range and an elite. You crazy different, all sorts of fun stuff.
And for those who are in the know or want to know, is that whatever saber that Skip ends up reviewing, we are going to raffle off at the merchandise booth at the at Bunta Eve. They're blending now. I'm sorry.
All the things.
All the things are blending. At Bunta in Texas. So someone could walk away with a saber.
That's pretty cool. Leave space in your carry-ons, people.
Yes. Not like a space like what we had like in Japan, where we all end up coming back with like another suitcase, but space.
Yeah, well, it's helpful. Like you win a saber, that's like commitment. You got to have like your tube or something.
Yeah. So we'll see. But I'm very, very excited about everything we're going on here at VCN Land. Got some great shows going on. We're gearing up for elementary for Texas. There's two great cons that VCN members are going to be at this weekend. One is the Washington State Comic Con, which we do have a meetup on Saturday night. And also there's another one, the Underground Comic Con, which has Ashley, James, Matt, Nika Fetterman, Jim Cummings, the voice of Bluey.
Where is that? What?
In Westchester, New York.
Uh-huh.
And a friend of mine is actually driving down to just meet Matt and then leave because the last two New England shows that he was supposed to be in, he canceled.
Uh-huh.
So, and he needed he has the Legacy Saber Clone Wars set, and Matt's the only one that's eluded him.
Very cool.
So, but
absolutely, I don't think we have one for that, but make sure you get out at SummerCon and you meet Tony Hartz.
Yes, Tony Hartz is awesome. Well, he's a pirate now. So
he is. Tony Hart's the pirate. He just joined Notman and
One-Eyed Tony.
And that's a new me.
I feel bad, he's got some, but yes.
Feel better, Troy. Really,
yes.
love
you. But no, a lot, like as we said, a lot of great stuff happening around VCN Land. A lot of great meetups and a lot of great things that are coming down the pike, I could say.
Absolutely.
We got some things to look forward to. But what is new? So for those who do not know, his real job is Dave is a teacher.
Yes.
So Dave's now on summer vacation, which is fantastic. So Dave, what have you been up to on your daily?
You seen the plot to Phineas and Ferb? There's what can you get into on summer vacation? What sort of things can you do, and how many adventures do you have per day? There's like the grass mowing, there's the pressure washing. Today, my youngest daughter had the forced me through a forced intervention for my t-shirts and did the fit check on my entire closet.
Oh, geez.
So let's see how many of my shirts had to go bye-bye. My lovely wife was very disheartened to see my Mr. Spock trek yourself before you wreck yourself still fits. So that made the cut.
That's a fantastic shirt.
So, yeah, but that's the kind of thing. Is what adventure can you get into to today? It's like you wake up in the morning and you go like, oh, we're gonna mow some grass, or oh, we're organizing the comic book collection, or whatever it is.
So for those who are watching us right now, all of you that are watching right now, I look at this as this summer is all the things Dave is trying to get off of his plate so he can come play with the VCN later in the year.
Yeah, it's a lot of that. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of that. It's a lot of that kind of thing.
Well, we got a lot of things planned.
And getting other things on is like I was at a Comic-Con recently where I did get to meet Anna Graves, who is going to be with us at Boonta, Texas. She was lovely. It's a very small kind of con in Morganton, North Carolina, which is not super far from here.
Like that would stop you. You would drive to 4 hours, just get one signature and turn around.
I would. And I have.
I know.
On a number of occasions. But this was a great con. I love small cons, but this is in like a local kind of rec center. They had an upstairs, they had a downstairs, they had some property movie cars and things out there. They had a lot of different merch, vintage G.I. Joe, vintage Star Wars stuff. I picked myself up a new project. So I got, I don't have it quite in reach. I bought the Darth Vader figure case.
Okay.
That already had the stickers on it for all of the names of the figures that came out in that year.
How are the stickers?
So now I need all the figures that match the stickers that go in the case. So new project is finding loose figures. So it's digging through bins at all the cons.
That's
Woo!
awesome.
Yeah.
And speaking of bins and talking about that, our good friend Scotty White over at Scotty's Toy Shop is over at the Joe Con this weekend.
Damn it. I wish I was at Joe Con. There's Scotty right there.
Yeah. So if you're over again at Joe Con, also we have other members like Chris Moore and some other people are going to be in that area for that con and working. So
go tell Larry Hama I said hi.
Yes. Because he knows exactly who you are.
Like Dave wishes he could be here.
Yes. But how is Anna? I know she was she recognized our internet celebrity.
Anna was lovely. I had not met Anna yet. I was not on the show, but I went in with Skip, and it's lovely to talk to. Very down to earth. Lots of stories. Lots of talk about the projects that she's done. Stuff that I didn't know that she had necessarily done. There was tons of really cool prints on her table for all of the projects. So I think people are going to be like super pleased with that, with her selection, and just, taking a few minutes to talk to her and her lovely husband, Kevin, who was accompanying her and helping out at the table.
Yeah. And Kevin might be coming to Texas too, which would be awesome for us to hang out with him.
Hopefully we will get to see him again.
Yes. She seemed excited about Texas.
She did seem excited about Texas. She was very excited, again, giving us the Boonta Eve in the Satine voice.
Oh, did she do that in person for you?
Oh, yes. She did the Satine voice for us and talking about Boonta Eve and then doing the Satine voice. And she did the Satine voice for a lot of stuff in person. It was great.
That's incredible. Well, we're very excited. She's one of our incredible 13 guests that we're going to have with us in Texas.
Yes.
So make sure that you come and hang out with us. And, and also don't forget, not just what we have, but,
what the con has is lovely and amazing as well. I've got a number of things. I did get Anna to sign my Clone Wars helmet.
Oh, good.
But I still have to bring it to Texas because there are so many other people from the Clone Wars that are going to be there.
Oh, yes. But wait, there's more. There always is more.
There is more. There's more coming. So it's like, yeah.
Yep.
All the things.
I should pay no attention to that. That's for later.
Who? What? Where?
When, I put something in the chat for later for after.
Oh yeah, I'm like reading sideways with the thing.
Yes, I was like, don't worry about that. But no, absolutely excited about that. It's gonna be a great weekend. We're gonna be everywhere, anywhere, and even just hanging out. Come and hang out with us. One of the things that I loved at ICC Con was even after Bunta, it was Bunta. Okay, I had to think for it. After Bunta, we all were like, all us VCNers were just sitting at the bar. Like we had a whole area that was all about that. And to me, that was probably one of my favorite parts of that event was like all of us just hanging out at the bar and just, hanging out. And
I forgot to mention at the Morganton Con, I found a figure that's like it's kind of a rare figure that will be lovely for Aiden Barton to sign. It's like Bail Organa holding baby Leia.
Now, question, is it Jimmy Smits or is it Benjamin
No, hello, original figure.
I have to ask.
No. Original figure. This is the nice. It's not even like Power of the Force. It was just that they made those prequel era ones with the like domed bubble.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an oval one. It's like the one that I got Tux to sign at Boonta Eve in Anaheim.
Right.
Or Fullerton.
Yes. But that's very that's all sorts of awesome. So are you going to bring the Youngland Slater 3000 to get signed by Ross Beedman?
So I think for Ross, because of what I want Ross to say is I've got to get an 8x10 of Ross because I want the whole thing. I want the whole thing, and I don't think the Youngling Slayer 3000 is big enough for that.
Hello, Bruce.
What is up, Bruce?
We were literally just talking about the fact that Sabak is going to have an entire massive room at Bunta. So bring your credits because we know you're a shark.
Bring your credits. And I've seen you online, man. I've seen you online asking about, do they do swag down there? And we know the king does some swag.
Yes.
So we expect to see some fancy stuff.
We just got the final proof for the VIP members of the event, their swag. So it's going to be very nice.
Yes.
And we're also going to have another Boonta Eve hexagon patch that will link up to all of our other patches.
For those of you collecting, I expect to see somebody with like a sleeve or something at some point on a denim jacket. Or speaking of jackets.
Oh, yes. How did I forget? You can buzz the tower outside the Death Star with our very snazzy virtual Cantina jackets, which are available right now. And you can get your name on it, available at virtualcantinanetwork.com. Order now until August, and then you will be able to get your delivery just in time for the fall cons. And also, we have Afterpay available for if you want to go and do a payment plan.
Nice and Skywalker.
Is that what you're getting?
You never know.
That's true. You do put like Skywalker on yours, like your hockey jerseys and stuff. So
things.
But yes, so make sure that you get one of those nice jackets. It's something we've been talking about for a while because we typically do like a sports theme, sports ball type thing every year, and figured this might be the thing to do.
Yes.
For the year. But other than that, everything else is like really, really exciting. Still obviously a lot of talks about there might be 2 new presidents going into Lucasfilm to take over for Kathy. That's with Dave being one of them. Not you, though. If you took over, Dave, if you took over Lucasfilm,
changes, man, changes.
I don't know how it would go over if you told Shell that you need to pick up and move everybody to San Francisco.
We are moving to San Francisco because I am overhauling the damn place.
Yes. That'll go over well. But don't forget, we are watching Light and Magic Season 2, Episode 2 tonight. Some really great scenes talking about more about Jar Jar. So if you're a Jar Jar fanatic, like Mr. O'Neill is right there, please make sure you go see him.
Absolutely.
And also, don't forget as well is that we are already. Sherry says,
make Lucasfilm move to North Carolina. Boom. Yes. It could happen. Yes, I do, Bruce. And thanks for bringing that up. Son of a bitch. Yes, I still have a bathroom torn apart. I did work on that today some as well. I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there.
Yeah.
But yes, there's a vibrant film industry here still in North Carolina. There's a new Netflix show that dropped today. I can't think of what it's called right now, but it was filmed here in North Carolina in a town called Southport, which I frequent. It's got the North Carolina 4th of July festival. Great place.
Very nice. But yes, we're going to have a lot of fun. And also, we're going to have a lot of fun because we are already starting to book events all the way through 2027.
The waterfront. Yes, we are preparing for the 27th. It's called The Waterfront on the Netflix. Mm-hmm.
On the Netflix. So keep an eye out on our Facebook page as well as the virtualcantinanetwork.com. And you might be part of the shenanigans.
Yes. Still need to do those shirts. That's the thing. I never remember shenanigans, shenanigans. It's more t-shirts.
Yes.
Because we all need more t-shirts. I need more t-shirts now because we thinned out some of my t-shirts today. So now more t-shirts.
Well, I could tell you right now that you have at least 4 new shirts that you're going to have in your possession by the time you leave Texas. So
excellent. Excellent.
And I will say too that our merchandise for Texas has shipped, and I will have them next week. So we will probably debut on this page what our merchandise are going to be. And I can tell you there'll be 2 new shirts available at our merchandise booth at Bunta.
Very nice.
So very, very excited about that. Some great designs by Dave and Jeff, again, as always. Things that people are going to absolutely love. I think they're both fun, but one in particular, I think people are going to absolutely go nuts for.
Well, yeah, and we always have our Just for Laugh shirts because we've got tons out on our TeePublic right now.
Yes.
Somehow Max Rebo return. Friends, of course, don't let friends hawk the track, even though we do that all the time.
Yep.
No, Plo Koon is your father. And there are others that you can find. Little subtle fun things.
Absolutely. Remember, there are friends. We have friends everywhere. So I know.
You need to finish that up.
Yeah. You see where I was going with that?
Yeah, exactly. That one needs to be finished up and do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all sorts of fun and all sorts of things coming up. Plenty of places to see everyone. I'm looking forward to seeing some of our friends at Raleigh GalaxyCon is coming up here later in late July before we see everybody in Texas. We'll still have that. Oh, and of course, Tim Zahn, who was in our intro today, is going to be in Washington State SummerCon. He's there, booth 1751. But
maybe he'll go hang out with the pilot Tony Hart's.
Yeah, he could. Tim Zahn, who got us through the dark times when there was no new, like Star Wars theatrical content, there were Tim Zahn novels.
I could say one of my favorite Tim Zahn stories, and I've met Tim a couple of times, was Dave's face when Tim walked into Bunta, Nashville, and was just hanging out at Bunta. You were like, Tim Zahn's here. Like, Tim Zahn's here.
I know.
Tim Zahn and Tim Zahn, like,
it was a huge thing because, again, this man got us through the dark times. I actually did not see Heir to the Empire in novel form first. My first exposure to that was the comic book adaptation of Heir to the Empire. That was the introduction to Thrawn and Mara Jade and Luke and all of those characters was in kind of, I think it's a 6-part mini series or special limited series comic. So that was like an amazing thing. And then later, of course, had to go back and get the book and the subsequent Thrawn novel, the more recent.
So I also want to sort of plug out to everybody over at, as far as Rebel Scum Con is concerned, they just announced a whole slew of group and reunion photo ops. So they released a Bad Batch duo with Rampart and Omega.
Nice.
They have one with Rampart, Omega, Nalase, and Tangui.
Okay.
Grievous and Maul with Matt Wood and Sam Witwer. Jabba's Court with Toby Philpott, Stephen Constantino, and Femi Taylor.
Excellent.
The Camino duo between Rita Owens and Michelle Young.
Very cool.
The Night Owls of Mandalore with Simon and Katie. The Owners of the Dark Saber, Katie and Sam Witwer, which they've been plugging on their socials.
Very nice.
3 Rebels, including Dennis Lawson. The Return to Mandalore, which is Simon, Katie, Tate, and Emily.
Okay.
A Revenge of the Sith reunion with Tux, Reyna, Ross Beedman, and Matt Wood. Also one with Tux and the actor who played Plo Koon.
Nice.
And there's also one called This Is the Way, which is the Armorer and Big Paz. And one with the Skeleton Crew Pirates. And I can tell you that there might be some other ones coming up very soon.
Surprise photo ops. Yeah.
So keep an eye out. You never know who might show up.
Yeah, I am so looking forward to August, and not just for our event, but this is kind of I think Rebel Scum is going to be the kind of the like I was talking about, the small con kind of flavor where you're going to get to spend a lot of time with these people, and there's going to be just so many people to choose from, and so many people that are not like your regular con goers. Is like what Simon is not super common at the moment at other places. Is Lauren Peterson, for crying out loud. I mean, Aidan Barton, not super common in all sorts of places, and a joy to meet. Watto, I haven't seen Andy at anything anywhere remotely close to recently. So
nice to see.
How many years ago was that though?
This year.
Really? Oh, I didn't go this year, so that's yeah. See, that's the things you miss.
Him and Lewis McLeod, who played Sebulba, were both there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I should have made it to ICCC. Yeah. Things.
Anyway, it's about that time right now, so please make sure your Disney Plus is all queued up for Light Magic Season 2, Episode 2.
Okay, hang on. I gotta wake up my Disney Plus.
Dave's got to wake up Disney.
I gotta wake up Disney. Hey, Mickey, hello. Get in there. Give everybody the chance to do the same thing.
Please make sure you get all queued up, and we'll continue the shenanigans as this episode goes along, as always. But yes, make sure that you get in Texas, people. It's going to be so much fun. And if you did not get to go to Celebration, this is the event to go to. And I'm not just saying that because we're heavily involved.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm excited. All right, get yourself on the Disney Plusy thing. Here we go. The countdown starts now. And there we are, off and running.
Yes.
I don't know how long. It's one of my projects I'm going to have to do is how long it's going to take me to get all my stuff together to take to Rebel Scum.
You mean all 20 of your buckets?
Yeah, like that.
You might have to ship some stuff.
Mm-hmm. I think we're going to have an entire suitcase full of stuff. See, this is the thing I love about Light and Magic is this so much non-Star Wars stuff that ILM was doing from everything. I mean, Saving Private Ryan, that all this stuff is going on. This was just Men in Black that you see. The Andrea Gale, okay, they're sitting there, they're working on with the George Clooney and the crazy lobsterman. Because, people from, the coast of Massachusetts aren't crazy, right? Frank. Frank.
Well, the funny thing about that is that movie is based in Gloucester, where Frank is from.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was making the joke. It's like Gloucesterman.
Well, the funny thing, another great story about that is that when I got to London for Celebration in 23, I get to my room, I'm unpacking, I'm like, all right, I got in, I didn't want to take a nap, I turn on the TV, and what's on the TV? Perfect Storm. I'm like, I can't leave Massachusetts.
That's right. It's everywhere. But just think of the thing that how much, I mean, I think I said this last week, is George could completely have just made this studio for himself, right? This could have been him and his buddies. It's like him and Spielberg and all the things. But you're just seeing right there in the clip the Michael Bay Transformers, which don't get me started on, but groundbreaking effects. Okay. There were choices made that I think were poor, but
he changed cinema not just because of Star Wars. He changed cinema because all of his side projects changed the industry.
Yeah. Just anything and everything that they're just coming out with. It's like, oh, well, can we do that? Not yet.
I think I just saw Oliver Platt in the background when Rob Coleman was going up on the escalator.
Porthos? Yes. The pirate?
So were you in the lines for the episode 1 when it first came out?
Oh, completely. I was telling my wife and children semi recently, it was probably only a year or two ago, we went to see something and I can't even think of what it was. And we had to go to a different city to see this. It was a limited release of something. And I was like, this place is familiar. It's changed. There's something different. It was the theater that I had waited in line to see episode 1.
Oh, wow.
It was like, oh, they've updated and put the fancy seats and stuff in, but this is the place because we all had to be there. I don't remember if it was opening night or not, but it was close.
So here they are. They're talking about the reviews, and didn't really talk about the movies.
there were certain feelings, and for such a while, it became cool to hate Jar Jar, but just exactly what George just said, right out of the mouth of the master, is everybody hated the comic relief of 3PO in the beginning, and that's what Jar Jar was. Jar Jar was the kids could relate. It was the comic relief that goes along. It kept it a little bit lighthearted because, I mean, we're talking about galactic rebellion and people killing everybody over trade rights. But when you have like a 7 foot tall, gangly, semi Rastafarian that's just tagging along for the ride, that's
Yes,
fun.
but
And then I grew to love him even more as my children grew. And this is the route that people come to Star Wars, is through this kind of for kids character.
yes, but let's take it into another level. Is that kid's character can be pinpointed blamed for the Clone Wars?
Well, yes, is he did the thing, or I love the theory that maybe he could be the Dark Lord of the Sith. That's the real puppet master behind the whole thing. But again, it became cool to hate him. But I love that the actor Ahmed Best has like Hayden. People didn't like Hayden
Right.
for the longest time, but they really he's gotten the recognition now of what that was. It was the first leading completely digital CGI character in a major motion picture. We would not have so many things that we have now without Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, easily.
Like just that just came out. 2 movies that are in the theaters now is How to Train Your Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The live action Lilo and Stitch. None of those things. What I just mentioned before, the Michael Bay Transformers movies.
Right.
None of that without Jar Jar. Okay, and I'll step down off my soapbox about Jar Jar now.
Yes. But it's interesting how he, someone asked the question about Jar Jar's sexuality. Like, why are you asking that?
Right, yeah. It's like, no. Well, and this was when Ahmad was much younger too,
Right.
and not experienced in the thing. I think today he'd just give you a smart ass response and move on.
It's very interesting because, I look at, like I talked about this before, is that 2019, which I still say to this day, was the best celebration for a multitude of reasons. Best autograph hall, and we have to thank our very own Mark Von Olen for that one. And it's not just because he works with us, and I'm giving him props. It was just an incredible autograph hall. But that's where I actually realized that, it was not my Star Wars anymore, and that I really need to. It was the prequel kids were now parents. So
Right.
I went home and rewatched Star Wars, the first 3 movies again, under new eyes. It was like, okay, I get it now, And since then, it was eye opening, and the love that Ahmed got. And then when he turned out as Big Kelleran Beck, I thought that was the return of the king. That was his.
I please, someone in Lucasfilm. We know sometimes things that we say on this show just happen. I want a freaking Kelleran Beck figure. Okay, yeah. Give me like retro series, give me Black series. I need Kelleran Beck because I have had Ahmed sign Jar Jar repeatedly. I need him on Kelleran Beck.
Yep, Beck was crazy, and his saber. His saber needs to be available.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That would be cool. Somewhere. Yeah, see, that is not what this is the downfall of the Star Wars fandoms, my friends, is like what people did to Jar Jar, what people did to Ahmed, what people did to, Rose Tico. It's like there are a multitude of things that go well and things that are like failings in all movies and shows. But you can't blame a single person. Like did George Lucas get all of that hate about Jar Jar? Not
Yes.
nearly. Well, he did, but did he get? Maybe he just took it better than Ahmed.
He took it better because we talked about that back in the dark ages, before the Twitter,
Yes.
before the Empire. We had AOL chat boards, and that was our social media at that particular time. And when Phantom Menace came out, people were saying George lost touch of reality. George has no grasp of his own creation anymore, that he should sell the property to a company like Disney. Those were things that were said back in the 90s and were prophesized. And now
you get what you want. And I mean, there have been, and again, let's not completely bash the Disney Star Wars, because there have been highs and there have been lows of the Disney Star Wars.
Absolutely. But we all love Star Wars, But I don't think that if it was Twitter back in the 90s, George might not have done Clones or Sith.
I don't know. I would like to think maybe at that point that George was beyond it, because you have to remember that people loved the original trilogy. People went to see it over and over again, but not everybody did. So many people were still like had hate for Star Wars.
Right.
I don't think so much. Maybe by the time Empire came around, people were over that. But Return of the Jedi, the Ewoks showed up on the scene and people were just losing their minds. But again, I am the Ewok generation, and that was my Star Wars. And this was particularly started off. Episode 1 was my little brother's Star Wars. My one of my brothers is 8 years younger than I am, and the prequel trilogy was his Star Wars.
Yep. Same with my brothers, so I completely understand.
Yeah, absolutely, right there. The internet has brought us amazing Star Wars, and easy bake hate is like the keyboard commandos and the people that just feel the need to do that.
And soapbox mafia.
And episode 1 was the first real part of that, is because I remember just, downloading the trailer and sitting there for episode 1, and it was just amazing.
Well, come on. Maul with a double lightsaber in that trailer.
Oh yeah, but even the pod racing scene that started that trailer off.
Right.
We talk about how defining this was. My little brother was in Cub Scouts at that point. We built him Anakin's pod racer as a Pinewood Derby car.
That's great.
Like the 2 little jet engines sitting there, and you had to put it on like a little piece of land with the wheels because rules and things. But no, like a little, and this was before minifigs were like a thing, before Star Wars minifigs were a thing. We made essentially like a young Anakin minifig that sat in this little hand carved wooden pod.
And look right there. Celebration, from Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
And just a love.
Yeah, Galaxy Quest, the Star Trek that should have been Star Trek. Star Trek that was more Star Trekier than Star Trek.
I love the fact there's a section at ILM on the tour that not only has the dish of the D, but it has the ships hanging from the ceiling from Galaxy Quest.
Yeah. This was, and what they're talking about, the time right now that they're talking, look at there, The Mummy. And
I,
and
I
then
watched the first one today. Like, I love that movie.
Yeah. Oh, and what con was that? That's a con. Was that Dallas coming up?
It's Denver. Denver has John Hannah, Omid Fair, Patricia Vasquez, and Brendan Fraser.
That's good lineup right there.
But they need Rachel Weisz.
Yes.
Because Rachel Weisz is the only Evie known. All right. I don't care if Maria Bello was Evie. She's not our Evie.
There you go. Oh, and then Twister.
She was like our Maria Bello is the equivalent of Benjamin Bratt in Star Wars.
Okay, look, I think Benjamin Bratt and Jimmy Smits both have done a lovely job, and it's like, but like you're talking about Twisters here, and how formative of a movie is Twisters. That's another one of those that you can watch as many times as humanly possible and quote every single line in that. I mean, if there is a more quotable movie than, what's the most quotable Star Wars? I mean, there's a ton of them. Like Revenge of the Sith is so quotable. Empire is so quotable. But Twister.
And this gentleman that is on right now, he was the one who's in charge of all the particles for each of the cyclones.
Well, and that's the kind of thing that happened too. And ILM, brought that towards Pixar and the Pixar computing to where, you get Monsters Inc., where Sully, they can program all the hairs to react, all those particles,
right.
All those hairs. Is everything led to each other. Cow. Oh, another cow. Oh, yeah. And then you forget about this. Jurassic Park, I think that is like the standard. Argue with me in the chat if you've got another one that you can think of. Is the standard for visual effects holding up over time? Because I swear, I think the original Jurassic Park has better dinosaurs than the latest Jurassic Park. It's just more awe-inspiring and more. I did not know that The Mask was ILM. I did not know that.
That was a great movie too.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, Jurassic Park, but now it. I hate to say it. I was saying this to someone earlier. That franchise has jumped the T-Rex. It's.
I still want to see the new one.
I
do. But am I as excited about seeing it as other things? I'm not. It's like, okay, I'll see it when I see it. It may be a good one.
Well, to also for like the Fantastic Four and also Superman. Like, this is reboots of the reboots of the reboots. But we're still gonna go see it.
Yes, we are. For one of them, there's gonna be, yeah.
But you're gonna go see Fantastic Four because you want to see.
I'm really gonna go see Fantastic Four. I'm definitely already have tickets to go see Superman.
I do.
I think the people that are going to go see Superman with me are probably going to regret it. But yeah. I mean, you're looking at on the screen there. Look at all these wireframes and all these particles, and they're doing the thing where they're going out and they're looking at actual tornadoes and seeing what happens, and they're being very informative or informed about how things actually work. This reminds me of early Disney animation, right? The groundbreaking thing that Walt did of bringing in live animals into the studio
Right.
for the animators to look at and see how they move. You know, Bambi looked as and moved as realistic because they would look at actual fawns.
Do you think they did that when they filmed Bambi Meets Godzilla?
Yeah, probably not so much there. Is that would be the what do we do? Is feed Bambi to a grizzly bear? I don't know. How do we get that? Where's God?
That was a great cartoon.
But you know, and like who did it? Who was the good dinosaur? Was that Bluth?
The good, I think it was Blue because it was Chris Pratt's dinosaur.
Good. Oh, it's on Disney Plus now, so maybe it was a Disney flick. Yeah, Disney Pixar. It was Pixar. But you know, the good dinosaur, you can see at some point that they really looked at landscaping, and it really looks like Teton Valley in Wyoming, a lot of it.
Well, going back to what you said, it's amazing, seeing the different properties that ILM has touched, and like it's also Skywalker Sound for that matter.
Yes,
you can see like no matter what it is, George.
Well, I think here's the thing about ILM too that you see that makes it really nice is you're seeing all the practical effects that they were working off of.
Right.
You know, they built a tank, they put a boat in the tank, they're moving it around, and they're building on it with the CG, right?
Right.
Is they're not doing a lot of the some of the things that were being done at the time that were not as convincing were just 100% CGI. It's like, oh, we can do that on the computer now. Boop, click, there it is.
Well, so like the last one, in Young Sherlock Holmes, when they animated the stained glass window, today's standards that would be rudimentary, but that's really bad. But then it was just like, we could do this, so why don't we use it?
Right. But then just like the mixing up and the mashing up, and so much of we talk about the Jurassic Park as being the go-to, the gold standard, and that was the thing where there were animatronic dinosaurs that they CGI'd up.
Right.
Oh, and let's look at that. It's just talking about, here it is. And he's everywhere. Look at that. Masaoka and Stan Lee.
Yep.
Oh, that's where it is that he's so familiar from Heroes.
Yes. So he's an actor, but he's also works for ILM. And also, if you're into Fantastic Four, Herbie is voiced by Matt Wood.
Aha. But look at this. Look at the practical stuff. There's so much science in ILM's level of visual effects.
Right.
It's like this is what we've figured out by looking at and transforming into the same thing, and now we have to transform this into a digital format.
It's funny how like I was working with it today, and you work with it on regular for what we do. How much we utilize Photoshop.
Oh, completely. It's that same kind of thing. Is once once the digital goes, like there are things that I didn't start my graphic design career being completely reliant upon Photoshop. Is there a number of things that no, I would have gotten out a ruler and got on my drafting table and did this and sketched, but now it's like nope, boop, click click click. And it even gets more apparent because Jeff has a much newer version of Photoshop than I do.
Right.
And a lot of the things that I do manually, it's now a filter in Photoshop. He goes, boop, one click.
Yep.
And that's what ILM has done for the masses, is they've created this stuff and it's become simplified and more people can use that and have access. Like at what point was it in the 90s that like morph you could get on like a 3.5 floppy, right? You could get morph and you plug it in and go, this is point A, this is point B.
Right. Well, if you remember back in, I would say when we were in elementary school, when we get like the Commodore, and we would be able to do very dot matrixy like line designs just by giving different like pinpoints like an XY axis.
Dude, I was into ASCII art forever.
Right.
Is making designs, making pictures out of nothing but your keyboard characters.
Right. And then the first websites and stuff when we were in college. Mm-hmm. Yes, we're older than Google, kids.
We are older than the Google. I'm like older than things that are no longer exist anymore. Older than AOL, people.
Yeah.
I think the first time that I really like older, literally not older than the internet, because the internet was around for a long time, but the internet wasn't available to the general public.
Right.
It was a very like high-end research and military thing until kind of our generation.
It's interesting, looking back again, I was actually talking to a friend of mine who is producing the new Springsteen movie. That's a trailer came out yesterday.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I went to sleepaway camp with him, and I messaged him on Facebook. And I said, just want to say congratulations on the trailer. It looks absolutely fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And we were just chatting about the group. And I was like, you do realize that we actually met each other 40 years ago this summer? It's like, that's insane. I'm like, something? I just aged myself, and it was difficult for me even writing that comment. So it's like, we're thinking about it's like all these things that we
well, just even think about even beyond that is what they're looking at in at ILM. ILM was founded again about at that point in the late 1970s, and how far the technology has come in that amount of time, right?
Of course.
And then how much the technology just came about in much less than that, from in the last 25-ish years, from the 90s. Okay, sorry. Again, I have to say, the 90s was more than 25 years ago now.
I know.
It's like,
it's interesting because if you look at what George did in the prequels, and he had all this blue screen and everything like that, he was building towards the volume.
He was.
Those were like, and now like those who were part of the prequel generation, like a Hayden or Ahmed or even Ewan, who were part of the big blue screen generation, and now can walk into the volume and just be there.
Right.
It's a completely different kind of acting.
Yeah. And see what they're looking at there. You're looking at the perfect storm, and they're going, oh, or they're walking into Galaxy, sorry, this is AI. They're
Right.
walking into a giant blue screen warehouse, and everything else is being put in. How much more realistic does the volume give it? Because you don't have to put, if it's an orange sunset, you don't have to put that orange digitally on the person's face. It's reflecting naturally off their face because it's coming from the walls. It's actually there, you know. The same kind of thing that you have with the sabers now being LED sabers that they're using and actually giving off the glow. It's there. It's in the room already. That you have to touch things up, but not.
Well, look at they're light testing, Yoda right there.
Yeah. Oh, there's John Knoll.
He was such a nice guy to chat with in Japan.
That was a really, I really enjoyed. I enjoy greatly all cons that are really getting into celebrating the creators. You know, putting Doug Chang at a booth signing in the autograph area was great. Putting John Knoll there. What you're gonna have at Rebel Scum Con, having Lorne, and having who else
Roger, and also
yeah.
Howie.
Well, even having like Jim Swearingen that created the toys and stuff. All of these creators are going to be great. But yeah, Roger Christian and all of the kind of behind the scenes people that really made this happen. That's great.
And I implore everybody that if you're not going to go to Bunta, to go to Bunta to talk to Fawn, especially after watching the show.
Yes.
He's everywhere. He was massively involved in the prequels.
Alan Davis has so much insight on how these things happened and just like the physical mechanics and things of what they were doing.
And he's a very good friend of the group. He's done 2 guest spots already. He's about to do his 3rd.
See, this is the thing with George is they're talking about here too. We're having a meeting with Sony because the camera that we wanted didn't exist. So we're like, no, I need you to make a camera. We need this. See, and this science is when you project film 24 frames a second, you don't see it. Now Disney knew that was a lot of the things, but Disney used like the rule of twos is they would do that 24 frames a second, but they would shoot the same frame twice. So there's less individual drawings that they're doing.
So I gotta give props to our missing comrade today who basically messaged us like, yeah, I'm going to Disneyland for the day. And now it's like spent like time hanging out with Tom Morello, who is like a general of the rebellion in rock and roll. I love Rage Against the Machine, and Scott Ian from Anthrax. Like Jeff, Jeremy, and Kareem. I'm like, okay, you can miss a show to go hang out with freaking Tom Morello. Like, it's okay.
Yeah, is and that's the level
at
of
Galaxy's Edge.
That is Galaxy. Yeah, at Galaxy's Edge, posing in front of the Falcon. How does that happen? That's only in California, friends.
I read an article once that Tom Morello was at Oga's one time, and the bartender gave him a challenge coin and said, "Thank you for your service."
Oh yeah.
And he started crying because he's been a Snow fan.
What was that? Is that that's the story of we don't often get generals from the rebellion or resistance generals
Yeah.
in here.
Hey, Lauren.
Oh, there's Lauren. 600 CG people, but then 80 to 100 people. This is what I'm talking about. The mixing of the physical
Look how young
model.
Fawn is there.
What's that?
Look how young
Yeah.
Fawn is.
Absolutely.
But now he looks like Jason Momoa.
Well, he looked like a young Jason Momoa there.
Yeah.
Like Jason Momoa when he was on Baywatch.
There you go. No, but seriously, it's like, look at this. It's like when we would make models for like school projects and get like, cardboard from boxes and make those as the walls, or, use plaster Paris to do stuff. It's like,
yeah,
that's how they did this stuff.
Well, and the when you talk about the Boon to Eve is when you talk about the pod race is like who thinks to like we did that or they did that with all like Q-tips,
right? I love hearing his child story.
Yeah.
Yeah, he told me that he was in this series at Not So before they did the thing, and I didn't realize it was how much he was involved in it. Another thing I love about this series as well is that Joe Johnson directed it.
Oh, yeah. It's a really well pieced together kind of thing, and you're sitting here looking at his influences. He's how Fawn's talking about how I looked up to the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, how many people of the generation now, just prequels, but also of our generation who got involved in the industry, saw Star Wars and said, I need to do this.
Oh, yeah. Completely and totally.
Like I said, you can get a job for this. I want that as a job.
Look, kids, you could look at stuff in books and magazines, and then that's how you found content. It wasn't on the TikTok.
No.
Books.
But like, yeah, look at that.
There's the Enterprise with is that Okuda? What's that?
Goodson was right next to him.
Well, there's Goodson and Okuda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our good friend, VCN Hall of Famer, Mr. John Goodson.
I just love seeing that like we're making stuff out of just random bits and bobs of this and that. There were no 3D printers, friends. This wasn't designed on the computer. Is this like, oh, we're going to get some foam. We're going to get some cardboard. We're going to get,
Mm-hmm. It just, I love, and we talk about this all the time here on the VCN, how fortunate we are to be able to be hanging out, talking with these people. And whether or not it's at one of our events or going to a Comic-Con, just listening to the masters. I mean,
yeah.
I know there's a panel coming for Rebel ScumCon that I need to be in the room. Like, I need to be sitting in that room. And we eat this stuff up.
Absolutely. I love hearing all the behind the scenes stuff that you get. And from the storyboards all the way to what we built and what we did, and that's what all of them are talking about is what we did, they did. And it's just like, oh, look, we felt it need, we just made a 20-foot tall model because that's what we needed to do to be able to zoom in or zoom out enough.
Right. And you had this big boom.
Looking at that Geonosis set.
Right.
Oh. See that translation of the people who get thrust into the digital age because of necessity is George is just like, nope, I need you to go over there and be on the computer now. You know how to build things physically. I need you to be able to build these digital things because that's what we're doing. Yeah, and I mean, look at this. Like these are their animatics, but these could almost be season 1 of the Clone Wars animated show. Their animatics could very nearly have been the animation in season 1.
Well, I mean, look at what they ended up doing with season 7. I mean, we talked about the Ray and Laura Mary Kim stuff, you know.
Mm. Oh, I hear Doug.
Yep.
Yep. That's a lot of clones.
Well, and they just, you know, snapped to Ahsoka, you know, the Clone Wars stuff, and went right back to clones. It just
the blue screen like rhino critter thing.
yeah.
It's just like, here, let's
The
go
reach.
ride this big blue foam thingamabob.
Yep. It's Mr. Narwhal from Elf.
Yes. And how much harder had there been to do the acting with that? I mean, these guys aren't even reacting to tennis balls. They're just
but you know, Sam Jackson was like, "Get that motherfucker," you know, like.
Oh yeah. Humana. Oh, Frank Oz.
Oh yeah, so in this section they're talking about the switch out.
Yeah. It's just amazing the physicality that the puppeteers have, like Frank Oz, Jim Henson, to where they're doing all of this like with an arm above their head all the time.
Speaking of Henson, did you see who was the last person to enter Muppets 3D?
Yes.
How awesome
Henson's daughter, the last person to ever be in the that's.
But then you know people not just like Henson, but you're talking about you know.
See, that's the fun thing I love about Frank Oz is Frank is staying in character as Yoda.
But you like the sense of humor that they'll have, but also like people like Mike Quinn, who is 9 up.
Yes.
We see him at Celebration and stuff, and he's like, you know, he did stuff on the Muppet movie. He did Muppets Take Manhattan. Like he was in Sesame Street.
Well, and I love the part they're talking about the original Yoda, which I got to see recently of a very accurate recreation at Nick Maley's museum,
right?
In the Caribbean. That was just absolutely fabulous because Nick is there in the museum. He's got a chair set up where he's doing whatever he's doing, but he's also got the controls, the like literal control by like levers and wires. It's controlled like with bicycle brakes, essentially. Right. And how he can make that puppet emote. Incredible. If you are ever happen to like be on a Caribbean cruise, and have a stopover, is Nick Maley's museum is amazing.
You said that was like one of the highlights of your trip.
It was one of the highlights of my trip. It was absolutely amazing place. And it's in walking distance from the cruise port. There's so many things. It's on what is it? Front Street in Saint Martin. Saint Martin. I think it's the Phillipsburg Saint Martin, and it's within walking distance of the cruise port. Amazing time, and you get to really a lot of the time spend time with Nick himself and talk with him.
And he's a big fan of our pirate.
Yes, absolutely, he is. He's got a great collection of all sorts of artifacts. He has they did life casting for a lot of the stuff that they would make back in the day, the masks and things. So he has like a collection of life masks of like Benjamin Franklin and Abraham Lincoln in his museum. So just amazing stuff. Oh, yeah.
You don't want to be that guy.
No, you don't want to be that guy.
But just, I mean, look at those three people in the office with Rob. It's like they're just sitting in the learning tree. Like, how could you not like go to work and not have a smile on your face about what you're learning and where you're learning it from?
Yeah. Oh, Nick is also, I forgot to mention, Nick is also an artist and a painter in his own right at this point, that he's doing that. And you can purchase like his limited editions of his paintings and drawings there as well. Okay. I got one called like Memories of Dagobah.
Ooh.
Really cool. Yeah. So that's the kind of thing that I'm thinking is that gives it more reality is we're doing, if they had kind of puppeted the mouth, but then you get this and you get Capoeira Yoda that can spinny flippy. So if they had stayed with a puppet, we wouldn't have got quite the prequels that we got.
Right. This is the kind of thing is like, a lot of times we're watching movies or TV shows and we don't want to know how the sausage is made, but we love how the sausage is made when it comes to.
I think it's amazing in this that how the CG Yoda looks more like the original trilogy puppet Yoda than the episode 1 puppet Yoda.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Is the digital version that they came up with looks more like the original trilogy puppet than the second updated puppet. I also enjoy seeing their desktops and see that they're just as messy and junky and have all the like random memorabilia and props and little toys sitting around all their monitors. It's like my setup here.
Both of us, yeah. I mean, you could definitely see, and I give props to anybody who is involved in any of the projects. There is a love.
Mm-hmm.
They love what they do, but also not only do they love what they do, but they love the fact that they're working on Star Wars.
I have met in all of the people that we have met doing this show and doing the speaker series and different things, and all of the people that we have met, I have met very, very few who this was just a job.
Right.
Everybody else, it's we're doing this because we don't trust anybody else not to screw up Star Wars. I don't want to screw up Star Wars. I want this to be the absolute best it possibly can because of the absolute love for it.
Well, it's like if you remember back when what's his face? John Williams first announced that he was going to retire was around the halfway through the sequels. And he's like, you know something? I don't want anybody else writing for Daisy.
Yeah.
Who wrote emails were like, one font, small, typewriter-esque.
Well, yeah, that was the fun when you still like printed all of those scripts and things and stuff out.
Oh my God, yeah.
Nick has an amazing collection of those, both originals and repros, like second or third or fourth down the line copies of so many of the original scripts. Like the Star Wars script when it was still the big long title, the Guardians of the Whills as seen by Luke Starkiller, that script.
Wow.
In the museum. In a fight describes.
And that was all that was in the script.
Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to figure it out.
It's like faster, more intense. Go. The Tasmanian Devil. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
You're never going to see that fight scene ever again like this.
Oh, he said it.
I thought that was a Gamorrean guard.
Well, that kind of seems that way as well. I think it's hilarious that Ahmed Best sees that it's like, oh.
Well, no, he was actually involved in the.
Well, that's what I'm saying is because Ahmed, what's the name? Was Stomp? Ahmed was in Stomp.
Yeah, that's how I found him.
Yeah. See, that's amazing.
Got Bruce Lee, which, by the way, you can see a nice show with his goddaughter next Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on Daughters of the Galaxy.
Ooh. Did you ask the question about the question, the styles and the? Mm-hmm.
Yes. All questions were asked.
Oh. So there will be some questions that kind of semi probably involve some Bruce Lee-ness.
And her father, who was
his best friend. That was exactly why that. Mm-hmm.
I just read an article the other day that if you remember, one of the original teaser posters for Star Wars was the hands with the saber, like over here, but all you saw was the hands. You didn't see the body or anything. Everybody thought that was Mark Hamill. That was George.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't Mark. I didn't know it was George.
Yeah, he was like the hand model in Zoolander.
Perfect. I love the concentration on the CG Yoda's face. It's like,
I like when it's like matte painted just green. It almost looks like he's the army man.
yeah. It really kind of does. Well, you're right. This looks like the Green Army Man from Toy Story. Is this easily could have been the Pixar?
Yep.
And they're just sitting there and like, oh, this is how many frames that this takes to do this.
Your life sucks, bro. I'm sorry. I mean, we all remember freaking Yoda. When in theaters, we see, oh, shit's about to go down.
Oh yeah, when they like drops the cane.
Yep. And then goes back to walk you with the cane afterwards.
Oh yeah, exactly that. And the whoa, yes.
Oh, he should have done without his shirt. Like having great. He ripped his cloak off and he's like a Bruce Lee, like completely jacked.
That's amazing too. That they just came up with that like random the idea that to grab the lightsaber with the Force.
Yep.
See, that's the little fun thing that I love about this too is that these guys just like sneak into screenings and things.
And all these psychos, that was us.
Oh yeah. Just meditating in the theaters.
I remember when these movies came out and I went to like the midnight showings.
Uh-huh.
Like we see, a long time ago, guys far, far away, and everybody puts their sabers up in the air. I'm like, this is like Rocky Horror, but for Star Wars, and this is awesome.
Mm.
Look how many $12 sabers are out there.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what there was then, Spencer.
I know that. I'm just
yeah, that there wasn't. I mean, slightly better than everything was the extendable at that point, unless you had the original OG 1980 big solid giant chunk of plastic that
right.
that made the noises because of the airflow through holes through the handle. What was that? It was like Natalie break dancing or something on set.
No, so it was in Geonosis when they're on the droid conveyor.
Oh, that makes sense now.
Ben Burr's another guy I would love to meet.
Mm.
Who was the guy who actually is the creator of the Seismic Charge, which is our favorite.
The Digital Filmmaking Summit.
Oh, no big deal.
You're right. Hmm. Look at his screening room. That's pretty badass.
Yeah, but knowing us, we'd hook up like an Xbox or a PlayStation. Yeah, I know.
I may still have a Wii and Rock Band hooked up in my theater room.
Great. I didn't see that when I was at your house.
No, it's downstairs. You didn't ever get down there.
Okay.
Is we had an extra room downstairs where we have like a couple of our old couches, and I've got a data projector and a custom mount that I made that like goes into the ceiling, and I painted one wall with like the shiny paint.
Ooh. So what's interesting about this, like what he's showing right now, is if you ever get a chance to do the tour at Lucasfilm, they have behind the scenes vignettes playing all day in the theater.
The same thing in Nick's museum. Nick has the exact same thing. He's got different disguised monitors and stuff playing vignettes of different things looping all the time.
It's just incredible.
Oh, the greens. Yeah, what you can add, and that's. There you go. David Jones.
Yep.
For which ILM has an Oscar.
Mm-hmm. And our good friend, Hall of Famer, Hal Hickel was heavily involved in him. I love these shots.
And then here we are. It just like the concept art again is absolutely amazing for these things. The fact that they take the time to do that.
It's funny. I was talking to one of the top guys over at Official Picks, walking through the autograph hall, and he said, you're an autograph collector. What drove you to this autograph hall? And I'm like, honestly, Doug Chang and John Knoll. Like, to me, I was like, I could see Hayden, I could see Ahmed, I could see all those guys at any other con in the United States. Those guys made this autograph hall special.
Very, very, very correct. That is why I drug the giant, 11 by 17s or 12 by 60s. It's a big, large print. That's why, I drug that all the way to Japan was for Doug Chang. It's like the print that like this,
and
this size. Mm-hmm. Is that was the necessity, because I mean Doug's been a fixture at Celebration for years, but you never know exactly where you can meet up with him. It was always luck of the draw finding him on the floor. Yep. But having those creators sitting at an actual table, amazing.
Yep. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We do greatly appreciate it. Don't forget, we are brought to you by VIP Home Theaters. Please make sure you check them out at VIPHomeTheaters.com and get your free consultation for sound systems and anything you want to do to watch your own Star Wars reality. They're big Star Wars fans themselves. And don't forget our great sponsors, VIP Home Theaters, Arter Wigs, Galactic Pickers, Plum Askew, Mood, Jennifer LaSalle, Colebrookdale Candle Company, My MTA, the official international travel company of the VCN, and Andy's Boat Repair. Don't forget, we're also taking sponsorships for another 2 weeks. So if you're interested, please reach out to us. But thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it. We couldn't do these events without you. And
we're also, remember, friends, we are still on the road to 100K. Right, we are trying to get 100,000 members onto the Facebook page. We are currently sitting at 98.7, 98.7 right there. When we get to 99,000, there will be a fabulous prize donated by Twin Cities Comics, an autographed picture of Mr. Hayden Christensen.
So thank you very much. Yeah.
Host admins and mods still available to be chosen.
Yes. So what else is going on in the VCN, Dave?
Always things on the VCN. There is a new episode of the Unifying Force coming up on Sunday. We have no idea what we're talking about yet. We have discussed so many things. There's so many things in popular culture and Star Wars adjacency coming out there. But join us. We'll be talking about that and connecting it back to the real world in the best way that we can. And of course, coming up on Monday, we have another episode of Clone Wars Revisited. I think they're going to be doing season 2, episode 6 or 7, one or the other. I think it's maybe 7 in that neighborhood. They're still doing that arc, the second battle of Geonosis, where you really see Ahsoka and Anakin's relationship and how different that is than other masters and Padawans. So check that out. Of course, Tuesday, join us on the Zoom. Come out here and just talk with us live. Then Wednesday, next Wednesday, join the Daughters of the Galaxy when they present Diana Lee and Osanto. It is going to be amazing on that June 25th. Great interview that I am so jealous that Spencer has seen because he produced it and I have not yet. I have resisted the urge to go back into the StreamYard and download a bootleg. Haven't done it yet. I'm not saying I won't before then, but I
just looked at the camera like, really? No, but I mean, and also I can imagine how many of us, like our crew, is going to be sitting in the chat watching that episode.
Absolutely. Yes, that one won't be live. It is pre-recorded, but please join and watch along. You could, of course, ask again questions in there that we are going to be seeing Diana in Texas that we may forward and have in some other format or something for you at some point.
This will be great. So, and next week we're going to be doing another episode of the Virtual Cantina Watch Along.
Yes.
Special version. We'll talk about that at a later date. Mr. Mark Von Ola will be joining us for the evening. So
excellent. That will be fun to have Mark on with us.
Excellent. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We look forward to this every week. We look forward to spending time with you, and also look forward to the road to 100,000. And we obviously are on the road to Star Wars Celebration 2027 because you have no idea what's in store.
Because we're crazy and are already.
We're absolutely crazy. So from Dave, this is Spencer saying, may the Force be with you.
Always.